You now call on Deputy Jerry Buttimer, followed by Deputies Tom Hayes and Deputies Jim Daly.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank
you, Last Colonel. I have 10 minutes. You might tell me I've got 2 minutes remaining, Last Colonel, please. Minister, in welcoming the 31st Amendment to the Constitution Bill, can I begin by complimenting you and your staff and your officials on your tenacity, your commitment and your resolve in a bipartisan, cross-party approach to bring this legislation to the House. You are to be commended, not in a political nature, but in that of a minister who's reached out and who's listened to, who's interacted and who's engaged. And you are so right in your speech tonight where you say that we must hope that someday the rights accruing to Irish citizens will be implicit. Until then, we must make them explicit. Tonight's legislation, Lascon Corla, is indeed, I hope, not just a new beginning, but is the creation of a new Ireland, an Ireland which pushes aside the past, which allows us to learn from what we've done wrong, and that we protect and embrace safely the welfare of all of our children. This debate is not just important, it is critical. It comes at a time when our economic sovereignty is being questioned, when our economic recovery is in its infancy, and we are saying to the families, to the children, to the people of Ireland, that we value each other and the society that we want to see is one that cherishes children. And it's saying, in an evening when we debated the Magdalen laundries, that we've learned from the past and that we have learned really and that we want to embrace the future through the medium of this constitutional referendum. Minister, I've had the pleasure and the privilege of chairing the Oireachtas Health and Children Committee, where we've dealt with the Children's First legislation. And I've been fascinated at the sense of expectation, at the excitement of people looking forward to this day, to this referendum. But also, I've been struck by the tremendous work, the insight, and the ability of so many to reach out and to make this a better society. This referendum, this bill, is about not just children, about family, about supporting community, about building family, and about saying to each other that children at risk must not just be a headline in a newspaper or a statistic in a report. It just cannot be a catchphrase. It is saying that our state will act, our state will work with parents to ensure that the dark, evil days will no longer be where they were. Minister, on this day in this House, or in these houses of the Oireachtas, we have debated in private members the Magdalen laundries. In Shannon Éireann, the private members' motion is dealt with homophobic bullying. And tonight, in this House, in this chamber, we're putting forward a children's referendum. It's about people. It's about putting people first. And I very much welcome the fact that in this House tonight, after 17 reports being brought forward, we have a referendum to go before the people, which I hope they will resoundingly say yes to. And to those who question the need for a referendum, to those who write and who probe, do so. But cast your minds to the reports that we've seen. 17 reports, written independent of government, of all hues, outlining a catalogue of error, a failure to act, a failure to join up the dots on behalf of children. And we have a minister and a government who in 18 months have reached across the aisle to say we can no longer continue the way we've been going. This journey, Minister, must not just conclude with the referendum, which I hope will be passed. It must continue to work with and to provide for families who require our state to intervene and to work for and with them. Hillary Clinton famously wrote, "It takes a village to raise a child." I agree with her, it does. And as you said, Minister, in your remarks at the press conference, the child's best place is at home, with its family. But if the family cannot rear a child, then the state has a duty and a right to intervene in exceptional circumstances. And that is why, Minister, this referendum is just so vital, because it's about protecting children. It's about supporting families. And as we said earlier, and Deputy Sullivan is right, it's about addressing the issues of adoption and making sure that we do allow children who want to be adopted, and families who want to adopt. The task, Minister, of bringing together a formula of words may have taken a long time. Many perhaps thought we would never get here, but we have. And I want to compliment, as Chair of the Oireachtas Committee, the members of the opposition, and Deputy Aquilon, Deputy McGonagall, and now Deputy Troy, and Deputy Seamus Healy on the committee, for their work, and Senator Van Turnout, and all the members from the government parties for the work that they've done to make sure that we are putting children first. But Minister, lest people forget, this referendum is reasserting the view that the best place for a child is within their family. But it cannot be overstated enough that this is not always the case. That there will be a case and a need for people to come in and to intervene and to act. And this government, through its action, dedicated a senior cabinet minister for the first time to sit at cabinet, are establishing a child and family support agency, have put in place Children First legislation, and have put in place the National Vetting Bill. All a suite of legislative and administrative procedures and policies to ensure that the referendum is part of the jigsaw within Irish society. And in welcoming the new creation of Article 42A dealing with children, I think it is important, Minister, that it is just that, about children. And it is incumbent upon all of us in this House, irrespective of our political affiliation or views, that we protect children. Because this referendum is necessary because of the failure of not just the state, but of the Church to act and to intervene on behalf of children. And if you go back, Minister, to the very opening line in the proposed new article, it says, the state recognises and affirms the natural and imperceptible rights of a child, of all children, and shall, as far as practical by its laws, protect and vindicate those rights. And that's what this is about. It's about making sure that we allow our society to flourish, to blossom, that we send out a message, as Deputy O'Sullivan said, or Deputy Murphy, in regarding the outside world, that we are a new and modern Ireland which has value and which has a sense of where we're coming from whilst going forward in terms of the new legislation. And if you look at what former Judge Catherine McGuinness rather in her report on the Kilkenny incest case and where we've come from to today, we will see that this referendum is so necessary. That it's not just a bill to amend the Constitution, it's a bill about people.
2 minutes.
Margaret. And if we are to cherish all of our children equally, then this referendum must be passed. Because to not do so will be not just a regressive step, but will be a statement that what we've done in the intervening 18 months in a cross-party approach has been worthless. Because it isn't worthless, it's worthwhile. And if we're to talk about adoption, Minister, then just this week, the very fact that you, in your capacity as Minister for Children, reached out to Vietnam and has re-established that connection indicates that we have a new thinking, a new type of approach within government to the issues. I will conclude, last Coherent, by saying this, that this referendum is important. I would encourage all of our people, and in particular, if I can, through this House tonight, reach out to the young people in our third-level institutions who will have an opportunity on a Saturday to come home to vote, to do so, to register if they wish in their own new constituencies where the universities they live in. But everybody has a duty to vote yes in this referendum, because it's not about today, it's about the Ireland of tomorrow.